So let's go to India.
Hand on heart, who really wants to go to Delhi and India and then is scared? We know the clichés of chaos and years of Delhi belly afterwards, but unlike most reports, we'll do our visit to India's capital in comfort and on a budget and with some good travel tips, and still we won't miss out on adventure or fall into those tourist traps. Let's go to Delhi.
And with some chai in my hand, we're starting our Delhi city tour. And this is gonna be quite different from most of the other city tours that you see on YouTube, because we will do it the relaxed way. We won't spend a lot of money, but we also will still have a certain amount of comfort. We'll do the whole tour in a car with the driver. We will not have street food though, because if you have only a few days in Delhi, you should not spend it with the upset stomach. And as much as I love street food in Asia, in India it's another thing. You should really be careful. So, but still, we will not starve. We will eat. We will have a look at all the beautiful sights of Delhi, the temples, the markets, the Red Fort, and it's gonna be a pretty exciting day. So let's start. Of course you will say, now what is he talking about, driving around with a driver and his air-conditioned car and still talking about affordable and on a budget trip and so on. I can say yes, I'm driving in an air-conditioned car with a driver, and yes, it is affordable, and yes, it is still on a budget, because I pay only $25 more or less, or maybe $30, depends on the conversion rate, for the whole day of a car with driver. I rented it for 12 hours, and that's the car and the driver and gas included, and it's a great way just to see the city in a very relaxed way. You can just see it here from the car. You can relax a little between the stops. It is already a very intense city, so it's always good maybe to relax a little bit in between. And here we are at the India Gate, actually a war memorial commemorating all the people who died, all the soldiers who died in the many wars of India in its very rich history. A very impressive place actually, especially because it's also part of the whole government area here. It's a whole huge alley from here down to the house of the government, and pretty impressive, and a great start actually for the trip of Delhi. By the way, it looks like it's a nice and cool day, not much sunshine, but it's incredibly hot. I'm here in the hot season, it's summer, and I'm just glad there's some wind at least today, otherwise it's unbearable. Actually it is pretty much unbearable. It's very, very hot, very, very humid, and the best time of course to visit India, especially Delhi, is from October to March. I'm here in July, August, of course, all for you. I'm pretty much used to being in Asia, because most of my family have been living in Asia for more than 40 years, so I really know it since early childhood. So here's a few tips for your Delhi tour on what to bring. So first of all, you should have clothes that cover your knees and shoulders, so that way you really get into the temples that you want to see. Then the next thing is bring your phone and a SIM card. Buy a SIM card when you arrive at the airport. It's very cheap, it's like $5-6 for a month, including 1.5 gigabyte per day and unlimited calls. Then next thing is bring cash, and enough cash, and maybe put it somewhere in your pants where you can have a zip or something like that, because there's pickpockets everywhere in the world, of course, not only in Delhi but also in Delhi. And then bring some disinfection gel. That might sound a little stupid, but I like to touch things and see things and do here, go there, and then it's really great to have some disinfection at hand instead of having second thoughts and regrets later. So, and another thing is also bring maybe a handheld ventilator, handheld fan. It might look a little stupid and a little embarrassing, I didn't bring any, so I saved myself the embarrassment, but who can see it? Maybe 15 million people who live here in the city, so that's double the population of Switzerland. Nobody else can see it. Yes, I do. Well, it's actually not allowed to film inside the temple, so I'm just filming myself and the sky behind me. But this here is just such an experience. First of all, there's the ponds outside, or the big pond outside, where people are bathing in there, and there's even fish in there. So, and but I mean, it's the whole place is just so spectacular. Inside, people are praying in front of these tables that are covered with special garments. I have to read myself into what it is actually. And then there's live music, 3 singers singing, playing instruments, singing very beautifully, all live. So really quite a special thing. And somehow it's really nice that nobody takes pictures inside the temple. Actually, it's very nice because it's so much more centered into what it actually is there. So, quick stop at Connaught place, and that's actually a cafe called Embassy Cafe. That sounds very posh, but it's mostly, I mean, it's a nice cafe and it's air conditioned, and I'm having some coffee and sparkling water, and that's natural sparkling water from the Himalayas. That sounds so fancy. I mean, this is the region. So nice. And another little advice for one of the most important things in life, which is going to the toilet. Maybe you take some toilet paper with you. That might be not such a bad idea. One really good advice I can give you: download the Google Translator and download Hindi as a language offline, so you're safe when you want to communicate. You can bargain at the market, you can ask for places, for directions, and you can also talk with your driver if he doesn't speak English, for example. So download the Google Translator and Hindi as offline language. Impressive. They have really still like streets with all the handicrafts. So you have one street with metal works, and then you have this street here with hello. then you have a street with paper and beautiful invitation cards. And such beautiful ones, not just some invitation card, but really amazingly beautiful. But I cannot buy now 1,000 invitation cards. Makes no sense, of course, but I would love to. See some handicrafts here that we don't see anymore somewhere else. I just saw a whole family actually printing files more or less, and then just cutting the forms for the file to put in the right form, the right size. Pretty impressive to see all these things. So sometimes you have to improvise, and of course not everything is exactly where Google Maps says it is, but for that you have the Google Translator, so you just ask. And I just asked for the spice market and we'll find out if I'm really right, if we find it. And we kind of landed at the fabric part of the market. So many beautiful fabrics, just insane to see all this, just very beautiful. So now we finally go to the spice market. I got a little caught up here because there's so much to see, so much to smell, to hear, to experience, like so many impressions every second, that I got really caught up. And it's so much inspiration also to for when you're back home, when you're working and all these things. It's really such an inspiration of life. Pretty true. Well, now it's starting to smell of spices, so we are getting close, I guess. But I don't know if you see it on my face or you see it in the whole picture here. It's getting so hot now, it's unbelievably hot. And you should really have water on this trip. And I mean, the sun is just coming out a little through the clouds and through the smog, and it's almost unbearable. But water helps. So we made it to the spice market, and where there's no tourists. That's what I love. No tourist rickshaws, no tourist groups, just me and the locals. And it's so impressive, all the smells, all the views, all kinds of peppers and turmeric and all kinds of spices. I'm just totally overwhelmed now by all the impressions. So beautiful. So much to smell and see. Wow. So, and at least I bought something from the spice market, some star anise, and I'm sure they charged me triple the price, but I don't care. I couldn't care less. The whole experience is worth 10 times the price. And I'm gonna use this at home for some sauces and some soups. And one thing I really like to do myself is just cook some soy sauce with this inside. I simmer it down, so it's a really nice base for soups in winter. So in the end I am getting my rickshaw tour, and that's not a touristic one but a regular rickshaw. It's a very normal way of transport here, just like a taxi or a motorbike maybe in the rest of Asia. You have a rickshaw here, and there's some e-bike rickshaws and regular ones. Which one you take is just totally up to you. I think it's also great to support the people who cannot afford an e-bike rickshaw. So that's what I'm having now. And maybe I got double charged. I don't care, because this is the wrong place to save money. Running a bike rickshaw here is really tough. This is really pretty incredible. Not only the bad air, the heat, and then uneven roads, but also the bike, of course, hasn't got any gears except for the one gear that you're just doing yourself more or less. And I mean, you have a heavy passenger here in the back, so it's really totally okay to pay maybe even triple or 4 times the price. I would be happy to do that, and I will do that anyway now, because I want to give him at least more than double the price that he asked. That's so much effort here, and I mean, you know, you can always drink a bottle of Perrier less sparkling water. That costs here like $3, and that would be 3 times the price that he gets for like 20 minutes of running this bike rickshaw. I better drink a bottle of Perrier less.
If you like this and the well over 100 flight and travel reports on the two TravelSingFly channels, then please give me a thumbs up, comment on the video and subscribe to the channel with the little bell next to it to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the exciting videos that are released here. You'll help the channel with all its free content to grow and become more visible. Keep looking around TravelSingFly, there's for sure a few more reports that are just the right ones for you. It's so great to have you here.
So, I'm a little late with everything now because I spent way too much time at the market area because I wanted to see so much. But now we are here at the Jama Masjid, the Jama Mosque, and it's such a beautiful old historic mosque. Of course you need to take off your shoes when visiting the mosque, which is just okay. And here you also don't have to worry about mold or bacteria for your feet because the floor is so hot, it's burning all the bacteria and mold away, and it's also burning my feet right now, to be honest. So this visit was shorter than I thought because you're not allowed to enter the mosque as a tourist. And I'm just wondering why I paid 300 rupees when I cannot enter the mosque. Is it just for the square in front? That makes no sense at all. So I think there's a change of plan because it's raining like crazy. Me and like 200 other people found the only dry spot. The great thing about having a car and a driver is that you can just improvise and change plans very fast. And I mean, the rain was so strong it made no sense to go into the Red Fort anymore, and there were also queues. They were really long. So I just called the driver and he was there in a moment, and now we can go on to the next sightseeing spot instead of just looking what to do, where to do it and how to change it. So that's really so much easier. And of course now I have to see when I can see the Red Fort, because this is a very short visit to Delhi. I want to show everything, and now I'm just thinking of maybe visiting the Red Fort just before I fly back to Europe. So just before sunset time, the sun is coming out actually, and we arrived at the Lotus temple. When you look at it on pictures, it doesn't look so amazing. Actually, it looks more like a kind of kitschy concrete structure, but in reality it's pretty impressive. I think that just like any other sightseeing spot here in India, about a mid-sized town is visiting this temple per hour. That's how many people come here. Me and the masses. But we know that about India, there's just a lot of people living here, and we go with it, go with the flow. And like in all temples here, it's the same rule. Shoes off, get a bag, and on we go. Inside the temple is actually not like the other temples that you know in Asia, gold and glitter and like precious stones, or what looks like precious stones, mirrors and so on, but it's really empty. Inside is nothing. You just have this huge hall in the shape of this lotus flower, a really big dome inside. And I mean, pictures are not allowed inside. It's a very calm and quiet, concentrated atmosphere. And I mean, the structure from outside is just really, really beautiful, much more than on the picture. So, I mean, I tried to be nice, but I bought already this and more that's in my pockets. And still, they don't understand I cannot have necklaces. So it's just too much. And I mean, I also bought a couple of things, you know, because, yeah, I mean, things that are nice and useful, why don't you buy them? It's just nice. And I'm sure here peacock feather fans are a great little souvenir for kids, for example. So, but I mean, of course, otherwise, I'm just used very much to Asia because I've been exposed to Asia for 40 years now. And you just have to be very stoic and just not listen too much what's going on around you. And of course, here people do touch you, they poke your shoulder or your arm like non-stop when they want to sell you something. But other than that, it's okay. I mean, it's their culture, that's what they do. There's no need to just push them away or to be upset or scream around. No, I mean, they have their own culture, and that's a couple thousand years old already. So who are we to just push them away? No, you just go with it and just think it's gonna be over in a moment anyway, and that's how they do it. So anyway, for the rest also, I don't find it so, as it's always said, like super dirty and super, of course it's super crowded, that's true, but the rest it's just a very big Asian metropolis, and for sure not the cleanest one. It's not Seoul, it's not Tokyo, and it's not Singapore at all. Yes, but it's like maybe Southeast Asia 30 years ago. That's how it is. It's just still bearable and fine to walk, and it's also an experience. It's always good, and also to know and to appreciate what we have in our own, or what I, for example, have in my own country, in Germany. Everything is super tidy, more or less at least, and that's also very much to appreciate in a way. But here, things are also great, just in a very different way sometimes. I cannot describe how beautiful this Humayun mausoleum is. It's just unbelievably beautiful. So special. And I mean, I took like 1,000 pictures now of this. But this is just beyond anything. You have to see it yourself, actually. That was such a beautiful place, this Humayun mausoleum, or however you pronounce it really. Entrance fee is 600 rupees for non-Indians and 40 rupees for Indians, and I find that totally okay, because I mean, it's still so much less than in major touristic attractions in Europe or the United States or in Canada, and it's their heritage, so they should visit it at a price they can afford, and we can totally afford the price that is asked from the foreigners, so no problem with that. So the sightseeing is over for today, and we are having something to eat finally. We won't have street food though, but we're going to a restaurant in the Connaught place area, so that's a really nice area to go out in the evening to have a drink or to go to a restaurant or to go shopping. And I found a place here that has Himalayan food, but also Nepal, of course, Bhutan and Tibet are represented here, and I'm having some Tibetan food and before that some soup, so I'm really curious how it's gonna be now. Actually quite okay, eating very strange food. Maybe you've seen my Thai report about food. I mean, recently I just had deep fried wasps in Thailand. That was just fine for me, but now I'm a little just hopeful that it's gonna be fine, because this is gonna be insides from the goats and from the lamb, and it says goat lights, whatever that might be, and goat offals, whatever that might be. And actually it's delicious, so that's great. Here the little pieces of chicken, they're really nice, and I mean, you know, half of this is insides of some animals. I don't know which insides, but we're never gonna find out, I guess. This here is really nice. It could be stripes of lung, it could be something else. We'll never know, but it's really tasty. And so Tibetan steamed bread is very close to the kind of dumpling you get in Bohemia, in Prague, for example. They know how to do it.
With the shop, so we are the only brand in India, describing food according to body type. As per the Ayurveda, there are 3 types of body: Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. So we are selling a products over here and describing food according to body type.
So
yeah.
So this is actually something you should really buy actually when you're in India. That's because clothes you get anywhere in the world, but the good herbs and the good teas and all that and the spices you get really here. That's of course the right place to do that. So here we are at Khan Market. This used to be a regular market, then it got more and more popular, and then people want to go out here, it seems, more and more, and now it's kind of the place to go. In the evening, of course, not as much as Connaught Place, but here really quite a lot of cafes and nice places to go to in the evening. And I just spotted one place that I know, of course, from Paris. So in France I expect it to be, and then I know it also from Dubai, a very fancy cafe. And here you go, La Durée, very fancy cafe that you, for example, see at Marina Dubai, just by the beach, but so unexpected here in a market in the middle of Delhi, India. This is how things change. Now we have the last night ride on a tuk-tuk, a really fancy one with doors, you see, and how you call it? It's the helicopter, you said,
Indian
right?
jet.
It's the Indian jet. So let's take the Indian jet.
Indian jet comfortable?
Very comfortable. Thank you so much. Wow, what a day that was. And now comes the biggest contrast. Coming back to the hotel, one of the best of India, the Leela Palace Hotel. What a day, what amazing impressions. Almost embarrassing to come back like this now, but it's also great. And we're back at the hotel room. Now there's good news about the Red Fort. Tomorrow I'm just gonna get up really early in the morning so we can really see the Red Fort before we're heading to Agra by train to see the Taj Mahal over there. But this over here you should also really see. This is the Leela Palace Hotel, one of the best hotels of India and of all of Asia even. It's so beautiful that I decided to make a separate hotel report only about this place, and maybe it's already out when you're watching this video here over here. So just check out my channel for the Leela Palace Hotel and you should really see that report because it's so beautiful. If you don't see that one, you're really gonna miss out on something. Now that's a fort, that you can really call a fort. This is just incredibly big, unbelievable. Oh my god, and it continues even more. Oh my god, look at this. Wow. The whole structure, by the way, dates back to the 17th century, exactly year 1648. I'm sure they didn't build it in 1 year though, so let's say 17th century. It's made all of red stone and marble inside, and today it's a museum and a monument and a World Heritage Site of the UNESCO, and it's also home to a lot of pigeons. And when you see all the vultures or eagles just flying around, I'm pretty sure the eagles or vultures are also happy that there's a lot of pigeons here. This place is not just big, but it's also very beautiful with all the gardens. And I mean, at the same time we had the Baroque period in Europe, and we had all the big Baroque gardens. I mean, you can only imagine now this is just here some green meadows, more or less, but you can just imagine how beautiful these gardens used to be 350 years ago. I'm sure there was just a beautiful, beautiful place to relax for the Mughal Empress. Well, I guess you can see the scorching heat in my face, but I couldn't care less because this is just so impressive. Look, this behind me is the marble place where they had the Mughal sit, the emperor here, as a throne seat, and it's just in the axis of the entrance. So you walk all the way out there half a mile till the entrance of the whole palace or the fort, but it's just so impressive. Like highly theatrical and very dramatically done, very beautiful. From that, actually throne hall, we're going on behind it where there's the palatial parts of the fort. Really, really stunning. Look, all white marble, like a dream from 1001 Nights, even though that's in Arabia, but I mean this is still the Orient here. So beautiful. So this was the Red Fort water highlight. Such a beautiful, impressive place. I mean, there were so many beautiful places on this day trip, but this was really just also very beautiful. Now I have to run a little because my tuk-tuk driver is waiting outside. I took that tuk-tuk from the hotel to the Red Fort and it was 300 rupees, and at 300 rupees, yes, and I mean that's $3.50 or so. Maybe that's a little more than the others would pay. I couldn't care less because I mean it's still so super cheap, and I'm happy to give a little more. But the most impressive thing is actually that he said he can give me a ride back too. I said, yeah, that's great. But then he didn't want to have the money also for the drive to the Red Fort. So he just said, no, you can give it to me when we go back. So actually, basically, if you were a horrible person, then you could just get out of the Red Fort and just walk on and just pretend you don't see that guy. And then the drive would have been for free. And that would be really a horrible thing to do, and it's so impressive how much trust there is. I mean, where would you do that? Would you do that in the United States? We would go on a taxi somewhere from New York to New Jersey and say, yeah, I want to go back, but I'd pay you when I go back, and you don't pay the drive there in the first place. So that's something that will never happen, right? And now we're back to the hotel, and I'm really sweating like crazy. Everything is just dripping, and I just hope that on the way the wind will blow off some of this, and otherwise I just have to sneak myself through the hotel lobby to my room. And also, I mean, I don't really smell of Dior and Chanel anymore, so I better sneak myself through the hotel. So this was our city tour of Delhi, and I'm still so impressed by this incredible town. So many impressions of pure life in all its facets. It's really so impressive. So now I'm just gonna relax a little here at the hotel, and this here is the hotel lounge, very beautiful. And then I'm gonna go on to the train station to go to Agra, where I'm gonna visit the Taj Mahal tomorrow in the very early morning. And of course I'm gonna have an extra report about that. And in the meantime, you should really watch this video here now, because that's really something you don't want to miss. See you again very soon here at Travel Sing Fly.